Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive regardless of their circumstances, while others remain stuck, despite having every advantage? What if I told you that the secret to transforming your life isn't waiting for better conditions, but creating them from within? Welcome to a journey that might just change everything for you. I'm not here to offer quick fixes or empty promises. Instead, I want to explore with you the profound truth that has transformed countless lives throughout history. Real change, lasting change, always begins from within. Picture this: two seeds planted in the same soil. One grows into a magnificent tree, stretching toward the sky, weathering storms and bearing abundant fruit. The other barely sprouts before withering away. The difference, not the environment. They shared the same ground, the same rain, the same sunshine. The difference lies within the seeds themselves. You and I are no different from those seeds. The quality of our lives depends far less on external conditions than on our internal capacity to grow, adapt, and transform. This isn't just philosophical musing. It's a practical truth that, once embraced, becomes the foundation for extraordinary living. Today, we're going to explore the art of inner transformation through the metaphor of seasons. Just as nature moves through winter, spring, and summer, our lives follow similar patterns of challenge, opportunity, and growth. By understanding how to navigate these seasons with wisdom and intention, you'll discover how to become the architect of your own transformation. My own journey taught me this lesson the hard way. 10 years ago, I was stuck in a cycle of blaming my circumstances for my unhappiness. I had a decent job, good relationships, all the external markers of success. Yet something was missing. I kept thinking, if only my boss appreciated me more, or if only I had more money, or if only I lived somewhere else, then I'd be happy. It wasn't until I lost almost everything in a series of personal setbacks that I was forced to confront a humbling truth. I had been looking in the wrong direction. The change I needed wouldn't come from different circumstances, but from a different me. This realization became the catalyst for a profound shift in how I approached life. Rather than focusing on changing my environment, I began the more challenging and ultimately more rewarding work of changing myself. I started getting wiser, stronger, and better. And as I transformed from within, something remarkable happened. My external reality began transforming too. This is the journey we'll explore together: how to navigate life's seasons with intention, growing wiser, stronger, and better through each cycle. By the end, you'll have not just inspiration, but a practical blueprint for creating meaningful change from the inside out. So let's begin where all true transformation starts, with the profound understanding that if you want to change your life, you must first change yourself. The wisdom of the seasons offers us a powerful framework for understanding personal growth. Just as nature moves through distinct phases, each with its own purpose and challenges, our lives follow similar patterns. By learning to recognize and work with these natural rhythms, rather than against them, we unlock the secret to sustainable growth. Winter represents the challenges and difficulties that inevitably come our way. Many of us resist these periods, seeing them only as obstacles to our happiness. But winter serves a vital purpose in nature and in our lives. It's during these times of apparent dormancy and difficulty that we develop resilience, clarity, and strength. Think about the last major challenge you faced. While painful, did it ultimately make you stronger? Did it teach you something about yourself that you might never have discovered otherwise? This is the hidden gift of winter. It strips away the superficial and reveals what truly matters. During my own winters, those periods of loss, failure, and uncertainty, I developed qualities I never would have cultivated in perpetual sunshine. I learned patience during times when progress seemed impossible. I discovered my own resilience when circumstances tested my limits, and I gained clarity about my true priorities when difficulties forced me to distinguish between the essential and the trivial. Winter also teaches us an important lesson about the cyclical nature of life. No difficult period lasts forever. Even in the depths of winter, spring is already preparing to emerge. This understanding alone can provide tremendous comfort during challenging times. The question is not whether winter will end, it will, but whether we will allow it to prepare us for the growth opportunities that lie ahead. How do we navigate winter effectively? First, by accepting it rather than resisting it. Resistance only prolongs suffering. Second, by looking for the lessons each challenge brings. What is this difficulty trying to teach you? What qualities is it developing within you? And third, by maintaining perspective, remembering that winter, however harsh, prepares the ground for new growth. As author Ryan Holiday writes, "The obstacle is the way." Our challenges aren't impediments to growth, they're the very means by which we grow. By embracing winter with this mindset, we transform difficulties from things that happen to us into opportunities that happen for us. And then comes spring, those precious windows of opportunity that open in our lives, sometimes when we least expect them. Spring represents possibility, potential, and the chance to plant seeds for future growth. The tragedy is that many people fail to recognize spring when it arrives. They're so accustomed to winter's mindset that they miss the signs of changing seasons. Others recognize opportunity but fail to act with the urgency required. They procrastinate, assuming spring will last indefinitely. But as any farmer knows, planting season is time-sensitive. Miss it, and you'll have nothing to harvest later. The spring seasons of our lives demand something from us: decisive action. When opportunity presents itself, whether in the form of a new relationship, a career possibility, or a chance for personal development, we must be ready to seize it. This requires preparation during winter, awareness to recognize spring when it arrives, and courage to act when the moment comes. I remember a spring season in my own life when an unexpected opportunity arose to change career paths. It wasn't part of my original plan, and taking it required stepping into uncertainty. All the usual fears arose. What if I fail? What if I'm making a mistake? What if there's something better around the corner? But a wise mentor reminded me, not all opportunities come twice. Some seasons don't return. I took the leap, and that decision, made during a brief spring window that might never have reopened, set me on a path that has brought more fulfillment than I could have imagined. The lesson? Spring requires both recognition and response. We must not only see opportunity, but have the courage to plant seeds when the soil is ready. Then comes summer, the season of growth, nurturing, and protection. Having planted seeds during spring, summer is when we tend to what we've started. This is the season of consistent effort, daily disciplines, and protective boundaries around what matters most. In our lives, summer represents those periods when we must nurture our relationships, our projects, our health, and our minds through consistent care. It's not enough to start well. We must develop the habits that sustain growth over time. Summer also teaches us about protection. Just as a farmer protects growing crops from threats, we must guard our developing dreams, relationships, and habits from the things that would undermine them. This means learning to say no to distractions, setting boundaries against energy-draining influences, and creating environments that support rather than sabotage our growth. The rhythms of these seasons, winter, spring, and summer, aren't just poetic metaphors. They reflect the actual patterns by which all meaningful growth occurs. By learning to recognize which season you're in and responding appropriately, you align yourself with the natural laws of development rather than fighting against them. Now, let's explore the three core dimensions of personal transformation that operate within these seasonal cycles. Getting wiser, stronger, and better. Getting wiser is about expanding your understanding of yourself, others, and the world. Wisdom isn't mere knowledge, it's applied understanding. It's knowing not just what to do, but why and when to do it. The path to wisdom begins with curiosity, asking better questions and seeking deeper understanding rather than settling for superficial answers. As Socrates famously stated, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This humble starting point opens us to genuine learning. Wisdom comes from multiple sources. First, from our own experiences, both successes and failures, when we take time to reflect on them deeply. What worked? What didn't? Why? Second, from the experiences of others. As speaker Jim Rohn wisely noted, You can learn from your own mistakes or the mistakes of others. The latter is less painful and more time efficient. Reading widely, seeking diverse perspectives, and learning from mentors who have walked paths before us, these accelerate our wisdom acquisition immeasurably. The wisest people I know are voracious learners who constantly expose themselves to ideas that challenge their existing views. But perhaps most importantly, wisdom comes from deep reflection on what truly matters. In our busy world, we rarely make time for contemplation, yet without it, knowledge remains superficial, never transforming into the wisdom that guides meaningful living. I've made it a practice to spend time each week in reflection, asking myself, what am I learning? Where am I growing? Where am I stuck? This simple habit has yielded insights that no amount of external information could provide. Getting stronger is about developing resilience, the capacity to withstand difficulties and recover from setbacks. Strength isn't the absence of weakness or vulnerability. It's the ability to function effectively despite them. Physical strength comes from resistance training, pushing against weights that challenge our muscles. Similarly, emotional and mental strength develop when we face resistance in life. Each challenge we overcome builds capacity for the next one. Remember that strength develops in the recovery, not just the exertion. Just as muscles grow during rest periods after exercise, our psychological strength grows in the quiet moments of reflection and recovery after challenges. This is why self-care isn't selfish. It's essential for sustainable strength. True strength also includes knowing your limits and respecting them. The strongest people I know aren't those who never rest or who push themselves to breaking point. They're those who understand the rhythms of exertion and recovery, challenge and rest. A practice that has transformed my own resilience is intentional discomfort, regularly doing things that challenge me, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally. This might mean cold showers, difficult conversations, or attempting skills where I'll initially fail. Each controlled experience of discomfort expands my comfort zone and builds strength for life's inevitable challenges. Getting better focuses on skill development and character growth. In a rapidly changing world, continuous improvement isn't optional, it's essential for relevance and impact. The marketplace rewards value, and value comes from consistently improving what you can offer. This means developing both hard skills specific to your field and soft skills like communication, emotional intelligence, and problem solving that translate across all areas of life. Improvement requires honest assessment. Where are your gaps? What skills would make the biggest difference in your effectiveness? What character qualities need strengthening? This assessment isn't about self-criticism, but clear-eyed evaluation of where growth is needed. The difference between those who continuously improve and those who plateau often comes down to deliberate practice, not just doing activities, but consciously working on specific aspects of performance with feedback and adjustment. Whether you're developing professional skills, relational abilities, or personal qualities, this deliberate approach accelerates growth exponentially. One powerful approach to getting better comes from the Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous small improvements. Rather than seeking dramatic overnight transformation, focus on getting just 1% better each day. These tiny improvements compound over time into remarkable change. Now let's explore how these three dimensions, getting wiser, stronger, and better, operate within life's seasonal cycles. In winter seasons of challenge, wisdom helps us extract meaning from difficulty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" wisdom prompts better questions. What can I learn from this? How might this difficulty be preparing me for what's ahead? Strength in winter looks like resilience, the ability to endure difficulty without being defined by it. It means feeling the full weight of challenges while maintaining the conviction that they are temporary and purposeful. Getting better during winter often means developing patience, perspective, and presence, qualities that serve us in all seasons but are forged most powerfully in difficulty. Winter strips away the non-essential, helping us focus on fundamental improvements that truly matter. When spring arrives with its opportunities, wisdom helps us recognize which possibilities align with our values and purposes. Not all opportunities are created equal. Wisdom discerns which seeds are worth planting. Strength in spring manifests as courage, the willingness to step into uncertainty, to risk failure for the sake of growth. Many squander spring because fear keeps them from acting when opportunity appears. Getting better during spring means developing decisiveness, vision, and the ability to commit fully to chosen paths. It's about improving your capacity to act with conviction when the moment requires it. In summer seasons of growth, wisdom guides our nurturing efforts, helping us distinguish between what deserves our energy and what doesn't. It helps us create sustainable practices rather than exhausting ourselves with unsustainable intensity. Strength during summer looks like consistency, showing up day after day for the things that matter most. It's the strength of steady discipline rather than sporadic heroic efforts. Getting better in summer involves refining our systems and habits, improving our ability to create environments that support growth, and developing the discernment to protect what matters from threats. Throughout all seasons, these dimensions work together. Wisdom without strength remains theoretical. Strength without wisdom becomes misguided force. Improvement without wisdom and strength lacks direction and sustainability. Let's now explore the practical application of these principles through some guided exercises and reflections. First, a seasonal assessment. Which season are you currently experiencing in different areas of your life? Your career might be in summer, while your relationships are in winter. Your physical health might be in spring, while your finances are in winter. Understanding which season you're in helps you respond appropriately. For areas in winter, what lessons might these challenges be teaching you? How might current difficulties be preparing you for future opportunities? Rather than just enduring winter, how can you use it intentionally to develop wisdom, strength, and skills you'll need in other seasons? For areas in spring, what opportunities are presenting themselves that you might be overlooking or postponing? Where do you need to act with greater urgency before the window closes? What seeds should you be planting now for future harvest? For areas in summer, what growing things in your life need protection and nurturing? What daily disciplines would best support their development? Where might you need better boundaries to protect what matters most? Now, consider how you're currently approaching personal growth in each dimension. For wisdom development, what sources of wisdom are you regularly engaging with? How often do you reflect deeply on your experiences and what they're teaching you? Who serves as mentors and wisdom sources in your life? For strength building, how are you intentionally developing resilience? Where might you need to build greater capacity for difficulty? Are you balancing challenge and recovery effectively? For continuous improvement, in what specific areas would getting better create the most positive impact in your life? What skills or qualities, if developed, would help you contribute more value to others? What small daily improvements could you commit to that would compound over time? These reflections aren't just theoretical exercises. They're the starting point for intentional transformation. By honestly assessing where you are and clearly envisioning where you want to go, you create the tension that drives meaningful change. Now let's talk about a quality essential for this journey of transformation: ambition. There's been much misunderstanding about ambition in our culture. Some see it as inherently selfish or negative, the ruthless pursuit of success at others' expense. But true ambition is something far more noble and necessary. At its core, ambition is simply an eager desire to achieve. It's the inner drive that moves us from passively accepting our current reality to actively creating something better. Without this drive, all the wisdom, strength, and skills in the world remain dormant potential. The most fulfilled people I know possess healthy ambition, not for domination or mere accumulation, but for contribution and growth. They're ambitious about becoming their best selves, creating value for others, and making a positive difference in their spheres of influence. This kind of ambition isn't selfish. It's the opposite. When we strive to become better versions of ourselves, everyone around us benefits. Our relationships improve. Our capacity to contribute grows. Our positive impact expands. Consider the ambitious doctor who works tirelessly to develop new skills that save more lives, or the ambitious teacher who continuously improves to reach more students effectively, or the ambitious parent who strives to create a nurturing environment for their children's development. These ambitions serve others even as they fulfill the individuals pursuing them. The absence of healthy ambition doesn't lead to contentment, it leads to stagnation and quiet desperation. As theologian Howard Thurman powerfully stated, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive and go do it, because what the world needs is people who have come alive." Coming alive, awakening your ambition for growth and contribution, is both a gift to yourself and to the world around you. It infuses the daily journey through life's seasons with meaning and direction. So how do we cultivate healthy ambition while avoiding the pitfalls of its distorted versions? First, by clarifying what truly matters to us, not what society tells us should matter, but what genuinely aligns with our deepest values. Second, by focusing on contribution rather than just acquisition, asking not just what can I get, but what can I give. And third, by balancing ambition with gratitude, appreciating our current reality even as we work to improve it. When channeled properly, ambition becomes the engine that drives us through winter's challenges, propels us to act during spring's opportunities, and sustains our efforts during summer's growth. It's the force that keeps us getting wiser, stronger, and better through each seasonal cycle. But ambition without action remains mere wishful thinking. This is where many people get stuck, knowing what they want to become, but never taking decisive steps toward it. Let's break this pattern by creating a practical 30-day plan for initiating meaningful change. For the next 30 days, I invite you to focus on just 3 small but significant daily practices. 1 for developing wisdom, 1 for building strength, and 1 for continuous improvement. Small, consistent actions are far more powerful than occasional grand gestures. As author James Clear notes in his book Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. For wisdom development, commit to just 15 minutes of reflective journaling each day. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What challenged my thinking? What new understanding am I gaining about myself and life? This simple practice, maintained consistently, will develop your reflective capacity and accelerate wisdom acquisition. For strength building, choose 1 small daily discomfort to embrace voluntarily. This might be a cold shower, a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or pushing yourself physically in some small way. By intentionally stepping into controlled discomfort, you build resilience for life's uncontrolled challenges. For continuous improvement, identify 1 specific skill or quality you want to develop and commit to just 20 minutes of deliberate practice each day. Whether it's communication, a professional skill, or a character quality like patience, this focused attention will yield remarkable growth over time. After 30 days of these simple practices, you'll not only experience tangible growth, but develop the meta skill of intentional transformation, the ability to consciously evolve yourself in response to life's changing seasons. Remember that transformation isn't a destination but a journey, a continuous spiral of growth as you navigate winter, spring, and summer again and again at progressively higher levels. Each cycle builds on the last, incorporating new wisdom, greater strength, and improved capabilities. The beauty of this journey is that it's available to everyone, regardless of circumstances. While we can't control all the external seasons that come our way, we have remarkable power over our internal response to them. And that response, more than any external factor, determines the quality and impact of our lives. Think of the people who have most inspired you throughout history or in your personal life. Weren't they individuals who demonstrated this capacity for inner transformation? People who grew wiser, stronger, and better through life's seasons, and whose inner development created ripple effects that touched countless others. You have this same capacity within you. The potential for meaningful transformation isn't reserved for special individuals. It's the birthright of everyone willing to engage intentionally with life's seasons. As we conclude our journey together, I want to return to where we began. The profound truth that real change, lasting change, always begins from within. When you commit to getting wiser, stronger, and better through each season of life, you set in motion a transformation that extends far beyond yourself. Your relationships improve, your contribution expands, your positive influence spreads in ways you might never fully know. This is your invitation to become the architect of your own transformation, to work with life's natural rhythms rather than against them, developing the wisdom to understand each season, the strength to endure its challenges, and the continuous improvement that creates value for yourself and others. The journey won't always be easy. There will be winter seasons that test your limits. There will be spring opportunities that challenge your courage. There will be summer periods that demand your sustained attention and care. But by embracing these seasons with intention, by committing to grow through them rather than merely go through them, you transform not just your circumstances, but your very self. And in the end, isn't that the most meaningful transformation of all? I'd love to hear about your own journey through life's seasons. What winters have shaped you? What springs have you seized or missed? What are you currently nurturing in your summer season? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's learn from each other's journeys. If you found value in these reflections, please consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel for more explorations of personal growth and transformation. And most importantly, take one small step today, right now, toward becoming wiser, stronger, or better. Remember that transformation doesn't require dramatic changes all at once, but consistent small actions over time. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, embrace each season with intention, knowing that within you lies everything needed for extraordinary growth.